Hey guys, welcome back to Built in America. I'm Jeff Freeland, your host. This is a show about men and women who are actually building businesses in America today, not chasing profits, but trying to do it with conviction, integrity, and responsibility. Each episode, I sit down with a founder, an operator, a leader who believe business is more than transactions, it's influence, and it's stewardship. It's one of the most powerful ways values show up in real life. We're here to talk about the marketplace, what's changing, what's working, what it really takes to serve customers who care about what they buy and who they are buying it from. These are honest conversations with people that doing the work, learning in real time how to build, lead, and grow in a very complicated world. And today, I'm very excited to have my friend David Hardaby, who's the owner and president of True Patriot Processing. His work sits right at the intersection of building a business and staying grounded in his values. We're going to talk about what he's building, what he's seen in the marketplace, and what Built in America means to him. So David, thanks so much for being here, buddy.
Well, thanks for having me very much. I appreciate being here.
Cool. Tell me a little bit about True Patriot Processing.
Sure. So True Patriot Processing was founded in 2012. I'm basically an independent agent in the merchant services, or what some would know as the credit card processing industry. So I service small and medium-sized businesses to help them do their credit card transactions and some other things as well too. ACH processing, gift cards, things along that lines, rewards programs. And I service small and medium-sized businesses to do that. Been doing this I'm in my 14th year now. I actually represent probably about 6 or 7 different companies, although most of my customers get bored with 1 or 2 because of various reasons. But it's an interesting industry to be in. It's very competitive. Unfortunately, there's not too many good players in it. There's a lot of companies out there that I guess are a little bit unscrupulous. So being somebody who really appreciates their customers is what I do.
Yeah.
Since I'm a business owner, it's really good to treat your customers like they're your only customer.
Absolutely.
And make sure you're always there to service them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's jump into our questions. How does your business help people live out their values when they spend their money?
Sure. Well, my business, as I started to say, is a little bit different than many you might interview. I service small and medium-sized businesses, and basically I save them money on their costs to do their merchant services. Again, as I was mentioning before, my industry is full of people and companies who either don't know what they're talking about, or they will do everything they can to take as many dollars from businesses as they can. So I'm a little bit different. I guarantee locked-in rates. I provide service like they've never had before, and I make sure that that if they have any questions or issues, that they're always answered. They're always on. So I mean, my phone is on 24/7, 365. So I make sure that they're serviced well. Most of my customers are pretty conservative, and I help them spend their money, help them save money so they can spend their money on other things. To either to have more money in their pocket or to reinvest into their business. So since most of my customers agree with me, we share similar values. Oftentimes we have long discussions about politics or policies, and it's really amazing, especially in a state like Connecticut. So that's kind of how I can help them out in a way.
Awesome. All right, question 2. What does building and growing your business in America mean to you personally?
Well, I'm a huge believer in not just made in America. I'm a big believer in making things, manufacturing in America. I really feel is that the only way to truly have a great economy is that you have to manufacture things here. But I take it a little step further, but it's better if it's American owned and serviced. That means American businesses. So even though I'm a small business, let me just give you an example. The companies that I represent they're American companies, and they have American-based customer support. So for example, when somebody says my Toyota or my Honda is made in America, I agree that does create jobs here, but ultimately the profits go overseas. So then that money is used against us when they buy American companies, property, or politicians. So it has a big influence on what happens in this country. They don't always share the same values, and then they take control of our businesses and country. And I see, what's happened with this country over the past 50 years as a result of it.
Got it. Makes a lot of sense. So you've been in business for a few years. How have you seen your customers change in the last few years, especially conservative or faith-minded customers?
Yeah, well, come to Connecticut and you'll see some some drastic differences in other areas of the country, especially like the South and stuff. But my business and most of my customers are located here in Connecticut. I have seen, especially since COVID started, the anxiety and worry in many of my customers. Many people don't realize what it's like to own and operate a small business. You have employees, inventory, payroll to meet, rent to pay, taxes to pay, things like that. Connecticut is a very blue state, and it's gotten much worse over the past 10 or 15 years. This has a big impact on the cost of doing business, along with government interference and regulation. Connecticut is one of the most unfriendliest states to do business, and I feel like it will always be a sanctuary for the extreme left. And our governor and the legislature, since they have a supermajority, the Democrats, are doing everything they can to ensure that. We're also plagued. We have a lot of what I call rhino. Many people know rhino lawmakers. Don't get me wrong. There are a few good Republican lawmakers up in Hartford, fighting for us. They're really trying hard to do a good job. And there's many good people in Connecticut. There's a lot of America-loving, Trump-loving businesses and people here. We're just outnumbered. Many have moved away, and then on top of it, since we're so close to New York City, many are moving in from New York City, not just from COVID, but now that we have a communist running New York City, which is, who would ever think? Many of them are not just moving to Florida, but many of them are moving across the border back into Fairfield County and even into New Haven County. And then the laws being passed over the past few years are a good example of what's happening in Connecticut.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's go into question 4. What values guide the way you lead your team and serve your customers?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks. That's a good question. So I was brought up extremely poor. And then on top of that, my father died when I was 10, and then we were even poorer after that. Not looking for sympathy, but I started working at 10, so I've been working for well over 50 years. And before he died, though, he always instilled good work values in us. To get up in the morning, go out, work, earn money. Money just isn't given to you because he had nothing to give. We were that poor. Also, not to spend money that you don't have. I was also living on my own at the age of 18. I went to school a few years afterwards, after working as an auto mechanic for electronics, and then I got my bachelor's degree in business in 4 years at night while I was working a full-time job. Again, I'm not trying to have that come off the wrong way, but I had nobody to help me do this, but I was determined. I've also had probably 15 or 20 part-time jobs in addition to working full-time when I needed extra money throughout my life. And again, my phone is always on now that I'm a business owner, 24/7, 365. So my hard work, my faith in Jesus as our Savior, working hard and honestly and being ethical really is what drives me. I've worked long hours and very hard throughout my career. And, to have a good, valuable business. I also pray for my customers every day, that they stay healthy and prosperous, that they will always see the value I can bring them and stay loyal to me, and that I could always be worthy to serve them.
Gotcha. Great. I love it. All right. My last question is also my favorite. What's one piece of advice you give to the other business owners trying to reach values-driven Americans?
Sure. Well, I had to think a little bit about this one, but it's a great question. I'm glad you saved it for the last.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Save the best for last, right? I would say use the golden rule. Do unto others as you want to be treated. They're your customers. They are the people who are providing for you and your family and maybe your employees' families too. If you treat them like a number, they'll probably treat you like a number back. If you treat them like a person and make them, have them genuinely feel important, then they'll probably treat you that way too and stay loyal to you. At least that's been my experience. Again, 14 years in this industry, and I have customers that are still with me 14 years later. Yeah. And typically in my industry, there's a high turnover rate with stuff. So, if you make them feel important, but be sincere about it. Treat a small customer just like a large customer. You never know, that small customer can get big, or I've had customers who've given me referrals, big customers, even though they're a small business. Mm-hmm. So, give fair pricing and be there to service them, even they need it after the sale, and pray for them. I pray for my customers every day. I have customers too that have been sick, they've gotten cancer. Some of them have died over the years, but I pray for their families. But I do every day, honestly, I pray for my customers every day, because it's not easy, and they're good people. They're all good people. In fact, I almost consider most of my friends in addition to being my customers. So
yeah, that's great. That's great.
That's my advice.
Great piece of advice. Well, David, thanks so much for being here today. We really, really appreciate it. you taking the time out to be here with us. But guys, that's a wrap for our show today. I hope today's conversation encouraged you as it did me and reminded you that building a business in this country is more than profits. It's about values. It's about people. It's about long-term impact. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to our weekly Liberty Spenders podcast. You can find it right here on YouTube, where we go deeper into how Americans are choosing to live out their values with and where they spend their money. If you're a business owner, a leader, or a brand that wants to understand how to serve these value-driven Americans, check out our website, libertyspenders.com. You can book a meeting with myself or any other of our team members. And finally, if you maybe you know someone who would be a great guest here on Built in America, head over to the builtinamericapodcast.com. You can learn more and apply to be a guest here. But thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for supporting American built business, and we'll see you on the next episode of Built in America.